Senator Chuck Schumer and Rep. Nancy Pelosi are using the Parkland survivors in a sick scam to steal money from sympathetic Americans. The Democratic National Committee is in dire need of cash, so they have launched an email and social media scam campaign, where unsuspecting Americans think they are helping the kids who survived the mass shooting, but they are not. So, if you see these links or emails, be warned, don't click on them. The Democratic Party sent out an email Friday written by a Parkland, Florida, school shooting survivor, urging recipients to sign up for the party's Get Out the Vote efforts. "I am a Parkland student survivor," reads the subject line of the email, sent from Sarah Imam via Democrats.org. At first glance, with the email subject line reading, "I am a Parkland student survivor," it seems legitimate, so many people click on it. Then, there is a message from Sarah Imam. The email reads, "On February 14th, I lost 17 members of my community in a mass shooting at my school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. But we, the survivors, refused to let their names be forgotten. We refused to let their deaths be in vain. I turned 18 the day after the shooting, and I immediately registered to vote. But many of my fellow survivors can't vote yet, and we are counting on you to stand up for young people at the ballot box." It continues, "This week the Democratic Party launched a Vote, a national campaign to organize voters and get them to the polls. Voting is the first step toward ending gun violence, so I'd like to ask you to do something important today. Will you add your name right now to Commit to Vote this fall clicking on a large button that appears at the bottom?" Reading Commit to Vote redirects the reader to the Democrat Party's homepage, where the user is asked to sign up to receive text messages and emails from the party. Upon registration, users are directed to a page asking them to donate to the National Party. "Make a contribution today if you're ready to elect Democrats in all 50 states this year," the page reads. As the Daily Caller reports, recipients are encouraged to sign a petition pledging to vote for Democrats in the fall, but are required to give the DNC their address, zip code, phone number and email address in order to sign the petition. Anyone who signs the petition is immediately directed to a donation page to give money to the DNC. The Daily Caller adds, Democrats have repeatedly sought to turn last month's tragic shooting, which left 17 people dead, into a political advantage. DNC Chair Tom Perez sent out a fundraising email the day after the shooting, trying to turn grief into political donations. So, who is Sarah Imam? That's a great question, and all we could come up with was a strange Twitter account that seems to have been changed. When we say it looks like this Twitter page was changed, we mean it looks scrubbed. The Twitter account for Sarah Imam, Never Again, was first registered back in 2013. The handle is @_Saxer_Maxim. It only has 99 tweets, and the tweets prior to the shooting are all about Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and some type of science club in Canada. We cannot find a picture of Sarah Imam, and the one on her alleged Twitter account does not show you her face. We do not have enough information to conclude anything else at this time. Here she is playing the guitar on February 18th, 4 days after the shooting, but we never see her face. We can't find one picture of her anywhere on the internet, which is strange for a high schooler in this day and age, to say the least. What's even more strange is that Sarah Imam popped up in an article from February 28 in the Chattanooga Times Free Press, speaking out on the school shooting in Georgia at Dalton High School. She doesn't pop up in any Parkland shooting articles. Sarah Imam, a senior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, said incidents like these that change lives forever and impact how a child feels at school. To learn that a teacher you know and trust has opened fire in your school must be devastating, traumatizing and scary, really, she said in a message to a Times Free Press reporter. The article read. In it, Sarah continues, any threat underscores a need for change. It doesn't matter whether those kids were hurt or not, their lives have henceforth forever been changed. They're never going to forget the sound of that gun. They'll never forget the sirens blaring or the darkness and unknowingness of a lockdown. The Times Free Press adds, she said the incident in Dalton was particularly concerning because the person who fired was a teacher, someone she said is there to protect students, in noting that she is giving this interview via message to a Times Free Press reporter. We see now that arming our teachers or having more guns on campus won't stop a threat. It may even be the problem, as it was today, Sarah Imam said. It's time for America to change. It's time for us to realize that our children's lives are at stake. Because today could have been much worse. We're lucky at WASNT, but we can no longer take any chances. Now, this Sarah Imam is lending her name for a huge fundraising campaign for the entire Democratic National Committee. To say the entire thing stinks is an understatement. Keeping our kids safe should not be politicized, and it won't be accomplished by infringing on our Second Amendment, the very thing many parents use to protect their children. So, beware these sick campaigns, luring good-hearted Americans into donating to the Democrats. We all know it's usually the elderly who get screwed, giving money to charlatans, and that's likely to be exactly what these DNC rats have in mind.